Clear the area outside the bunker entrance.
Engaging enemy.
What's up, agents? How y'all doing? Hope everybody's hanging in there, being as safe as you need to be. I apologize for the echo. We're cleaning the studio out a little bit. There's a lot of stuff out of here, so we got some more echo. We got some music lessons downstairs. Bear with me. Hopefully the singing's not too bad. I hope it'll be okay. Anyway, I wanted to try a new layout, a new format for these videos. As you guys know, we tend to do very long form videos. I get very in depth, and while I still plan on doing that, I also want to release a series that'll be very short, about 5-minute videos where I will just truncate the idea about builds, present them in a very quick fashion so that people can digest them in about 5 minutes instead of having to go much longer and in depth to keep track of all this information. So do me a favor, guys, smash that like button. If I haven't earned your subscription, hopefully by the end of this video I will have. Best thing you can do to help my channel is share this video, and do me a favor, leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think of the shortened format. Let me know if you think it's effective. Let me know what you guys think I can either add to or take away to make it more advantageous for the community. What we're going to do today is I'm going to go over the old school Queen of Bleed builds. So before getting into the actual builds, I just want to talk about the different sources of bleed. One, you got the Carnage LMG, which has the perfect status. Any enemy that is bleeding, you will do 25% bonus weapon damage to, so that could be great. There's the Ridgeway's Pride chest piece, which as you shoot enemies within range, they'll start bleeding. The more enemies that are bleeding around you, the more you will heal. It can be fun for lower tier content. The ongoing directed gear set will allow you to get hollow point bullets, which amplifies your damage and causes bleed. There's the trauma chest talent, which is probably the worst way of applying bleed in the game, but that is an option. Alright, so now we'll get into the build. The build we are going to use as the specialization, the Technician. This will give you access to the Link laser pointer. You'll have access to the overcharged CPU, which will give you 10% bonus skill damage. You'll have access to the Faraday field, which will keep you from getting shocked and disrupted. Lastly, with the Technician, you have the Amp. This will give you +1 skill tier. This allows you to run a weapon core or an armor core without sacrificing a skill tier. So you can swap out one piece and still maintain skill tier 6, which we want to maintain the entire time. As far as the skills go, my favorite choices are the Stinger Hive for area denial and close quarter combat. Combine that with the Seeker Mine. Since we're using Technician, you have to use the Demolitionist to get the artillery turret, so that's out of the equation. So I like the Seeker Mine. Shrapnel traps seem a little redundant since we're already using the Hive, and we can actually pick the Hive up and move it around. So use the shrapnel traps if you like them. I'm not a huge fan. Now, as far as the gear, there's 3 different build sets that I run. So the 2 different gear sets we got, you can go with the ongoing directive, which will give you access to the hollow point bullets, which do the bonus damage. You have the Eclipse Protocol, which will, upon death, it will spread your status effects around to all enemies within range and reset some of that duration. And then you can also do something which is like the Hexotic build, something with like a memento and then using brand sets. The different brand sets you could use with these would be, and what I'd recommend is using 1 Wyvern and 1 GL. The reason why is Wyvern gives you skill damage. If you use the second Wyvern, you'll get status effects, but you can go with GL, which will give you the status effects, and it naturally comes with armor core. We're running Technician, gives you the bonus armor. As far as the talents go, I would recommend Glass Cannon on the chest for maximum damage. However, you could go with Spotter. You can actually do more damage overall by using Spotter, as you don't take as much damage, so you can stay in the fight that much longer. As far as backpack goes, a couple different talents. If you're going with ongoing directive, you're probably going to want to use the Trauma Specialist, as that will basically double the damage of your bleed. Anything but that, You know, you'd probably want to go with Creeping Death if you want to spread the status effects around quickly, Galvanize if you want to give yourself or your teammates bonus armor, and if you're using something like the Scorpio or another shotgun, you could use Opportunistic, and then that way you can make it so you and your team does more damage to enemies. Now, if you're already the Hexotic build, what I'd recommend would be to run the Memento Backpack, 3 pieces of Empress International. You can get the skill damage and the skill efficiency. Run 1 Wyvern for the skill damage and 1 GL for the status effects. Just my version of the build that I like the best is that Hexotic build. Now, as far as weapons go, we already mentioned about the Carnage, which is the LMG with Perfect Sadist, which will allow you to do more damage to bleeding enemies as well as cause bleed to every 4th enemy you shoot after killing 3 enemies. Another thing you could use is the Everlasting Gauge, which will give the perfect perpetuation. This doesn't add any damage or duration, but it cuts the cooldown from 20 seconds down to 16 seconds. So I would choose the P416, put the Link Laser Pointer on there, so then I could take advantage of the Spotter if I want to. I can put Perpetuation on this. I just find that it's a better gun, and it's just my favorite weapon in the game. So use whatever weapon you think is best. I highly recommend using Perpetuation. And then if you want to go with an exotic weapon, you could use the Scorpio. It's a shotgun. It's got the plus 12% damage to armor on it. It causes a myriad of status effects, and it can debuff enemies as well. So this will cause you to do more damage along with your team. However, again, I prefer to just run with my P416 most of the time. So the main keys to this is don't get greedy. Don't go for the biggest guys. Start with the lower tier enemies. If you can, a red bar, try to kill them. This will help to either proc the ongoing directive Hollow Points, to proc the Eclipse Protocol, status effect spread, right? So you want to work your way up the chain. You'll ultimately do more damage because by the time you finally get to the big guys, they will have stained a lot of bleed damage by then anyway, so they'll be easier to take down. Another quick thing is damage is snapshot at the time that the damage over time is afflicted. So if you're running like combined arms, in sync, any combination of any quick duration buffs, as long as you land your status effect before those buffs have wore off, they will be snapshot and do that damage the entire time. You will not lose any damage when the buff goes away. But you can actually buff that damage by switching to a weapon with a higher damage to armor. Provided the enemy you're fighting has armor, you will get that bonus damage and you will see that damage number tick up. So that can be used to your advantage. Last thing I will note is that while bleed is a lot of fun, and this is recapping on what I said before, the burn ultimately does more damage. It's easier to use. So for legendary content, I would recommend going with the burn build or something that's a little more effective than the bleed. But this bleed build is a lot of fun. There's a lot of different variations. If you agents know of another way of running this, you have other ideas, other synergies that I haven't listed here. This is a short video, but let me know. And as I said, if we can, we'll go ahead and create a longer video if we need to go over all the details, get into the nitty-gritty. But agents, thank you so much for checking out my truncated video. Do me a favor, smash that like button. If you haven't already, hopefully I've earned your subscription today. Best thing you can do is share this video. You guys be as safe as you need to be out there, and I will catch you agents in the dark zone.